Hello and welcome to my podcast. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in today. I had a minute and I thought I want to share something else with you that I find very beautiful and very interesting. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing if you would like to, if you feel so inclined, and leave a comment below. Share any of my videos with anyone that you think might benefit from them. I do go pretty deep in some of my chats. They are pretty full on. So if you're more of like, stick your head in the sand, light and fluffy type of thing, then this channel is definitely not for you. And you probably wouldn't understand it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Just being really frankly honest. So I'm sharing a scene from a TV series, which I love, and I'm going to talk about the TV series, I'm going to talk about the book, and I'm going to talk about this particular episode 4 of The Sandman. The title of this episode is called A Hope in Hell. Quite fitting. And so I want to just get you guys up to speed about what this all is and what I'm talking about. So first of all, the Sandman comic book series was written by a man who obviously needs no introduction. It was written by Neil Gaiman and is a very prolific writer, fiction writer. A lot of his work has been adapted into TV shows, Good Omens, American Gods, and in 2022 we got the Sandman series. Recently I did acquire the volume 1 to 4 of the comic book series itself, and I have to say the artwork and the style of how it was written is just so impressive to me. And every now and then, you come across these things which are just so well made and they're so interesting, and the level of thought and imagination that goes into making art or making things like this is just, you just have to kind of go, hey, let's just let's just take a minute and let's just talk about this. So the Sandman series is based on a character called Morpheus, who is known as Dream. And if you haven't, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the series, if you haven't read the comic books or looked at the books, then please, or the graphic novels, then please don't, just pause this video and stop right now, because I'm going to share a little bit with you. So Dream is one of the Endless, and the Endless are the anthropomorphic, that's a big word, embodiment of humans. So Dream is obviously the realm of dreams. He's the master of dreams. Then there's his sister Death. There's destiny, destruction, delirium, and desire. And so it's just a really interesting thing. So basically in this series, we pick up where Dream has been captured by an evil occultist who was actually trying to capture his sister, but he got caught in a ritual that was being performed, and Dream is trapped for over 100 years. And in that time, he breaks free. And when he does, he finds that everything has kind of gone and changed on him. And he's looking to acquire his items of office. And one of them is a ruby. One of them is his pouch of sand. And the other is his helmet. And so the first season, or the first book part of all of this, is really about Dream establishing a world with us, so we get to learn about the character, learn about the world that he's in. And we know Neil Gaiman writes in a lot of things that happened in the history of our timelines and merges a lot of that with his storytelling. Whether he does that with Good Omens, the book of Genesis, or whether he's done that with Odin in like American Gods. It's just kind of like what he does. So, and it's done brilliantly, by the way. The plot line and the characters are always so well done. This is a fantastic series. And so in episode 4, we get to meet Lucifer Morningstar. And of course, that was the fallen angel, the evil angel Samael, who rebelled against heaven and then became Lucifer in hell. And so Dream comes to hell in this episode to basically battle it out and get his helmet back. It was originally, his helmet was traded while he was away for a protection necklace, and the demon that had it, Corazon, refuses to give it back. In the comic book series, we see, or in the graphic novel, we see that Corazon is actually the one who fights Dream. But in the TV series, we see Dream, and Dream has to fight Lucifer, or it's more kind of depicted that Lucifer tricks Dream into a battle with him, as that's what Dream needed, and that's what Lucifer wanted from him the whole time, was for him to effectively lose the battle so that Dream would be trapped in hell. And so it's a really interesting thing. This is called The Oldest Game, and it's really, really quite captivating. And I think it's, as we know in a lot of Neil's work, a lot of allegories are used, a lot of very interesting storytelling is told through in supernatural ways. And so The Oldest Game is not a physical fight, but it is a fight of the wits, and it is fought with supernatural powers. So it's fought on a level where one person stands before another person, the challenged, and it is that person introduces a concept, and then the other person must counter that concept and beat that concept with their concept, kind of like a game of rock, papers, and scissors. But in this game, the player of The Oldest Game is physically affected by what the fellow player brings to the table. So in this scene, we see that as the challenged, Lucifer goes first, and Lucifer is played by Gwendolyn Christie. So we have a female actress portraying a male character, which is very well done as well. She does a beautiful job in this series, and her first move is a direwolf, and then Dream says that he is a hunter with a bow and arrow who shoots and stabs the direwolf, and then of course we see the arrow go through the angel, and then from there we go on to Lucifer's next move is a serpent, horse biting, poison toothed. Dream's next move is a bird of prey, snake devouring, talons ripping. And so as they're kind of playing the game, you see, Lucifer's face gets ripped, and then she becomes a butcher bacterium, which destroys the bird of prey, the eagle. And then that starts to happen to Dream's face. He starts to, and then we realize in the fight, we see that being at a battle of imagination and concepts, it's really kind of a play or a dance. It's very beautifully done, and people that are articulate and are able to put forth a good conversation or a good argument, particularly a lawyer would really understand this and appreciate this level of wit and dialogue, because effectively, and I'm not sure if you know who said it. Can you please let me know in the comments below? Someone once said that all conversations are mere concepts. So I present a concept to you, you present a concept to me, and now we have this kind of combatant or dance or play of words and playing of, progressing a conversation, which is what moves things along. That's what a lawyer obviously would be doing. They're lawyering up, or they're going into a court of law where they have practiced law and what they bring to the table in, defending their client. And then the other lawyer will make a move, and then that lawyer counteracts with their move, and we both go back and forth until the judge decides or it's settled. And so that tends to be, a play of choosing of words and choosing of concepts, and one having to up the other, and then the other has to up the other and outsmart the other. And so it's a really interesting thing. And we see in the game that Dream starts off defensively, just like Lucifer, and then decides that he changes his gameplay to, rather than be defensive, he goes kind of into offensive. So he starts to neutralize everything that that Lucifer is doing. So he goes to space floating, life nurturing, which would be the opposite of what Lucifer is, which is chaos and destruction. And then Lucifer says that she is, a nova, planet, destroying, planet consuming. And then he goes bigger than the nova. He says, I am a universe. And then at the final move, we see that Lucifer plays anti-life, which is like antimatter, and says, I am the dark at the end of everything. And it's like all consuming. And we see she thinks that she's won, and she's triumphantly kind of standing over our, main character, Dream, and he's on the floor and he's completely like half dead because she's sucked the life out of him. And it's a beautiful dance, because when you have two enemies in combatant, one jumps, the other jumps, one moves, the other moves. So you have this kind of, in a sword fight, for example, one will, swing a blow, and if the other is trained with a sword, then they'll block that blow, and then they'll make a blow. And then so it's kind of like a symmetry which goes on in a battle. And when two of the players or fighters are at the same or equal level of ability, it's quite a beautiful kind of dance to see. It is what it is. But here it's all happening in the astral world, which is exactly brilliant, because that's exactly how a being of this power would fight, and it's a battle of the minds. It's a battle of the imagination and conquering the other. And so in the end, we see that Dream wins the battle as he chooses his last move, which is hope. And this is so beautifully done, because being filled with hope is Lucifer really kind of playing off, Dream playing off Lucifer's weakness, which is that in order to be in hell, dreams have to exist. And Morpheus is dreams. So he's outsmarted the devil, or outsmarted Lucifer, by presenting something that Lucifer can't beat, because Lucifer quintessentially is the evil angel trapped in hell. And of course, if one cannot dream of a better world outside of hell, then what is hell? So without dreams, what is hell? Because hell is the absence of hope. And that's what Dream chooses as his last move. And we see this kind of, tyrannical power that's just kind of like a cat and a mouse, just playing with him, but then doesn't realize that Dream is cunning and very smart and outsmarts her at the last move, and wins the game and gets his helmet back. And this obviously infuriates Lucifer, because he's just shamed her in front of all of the demons that were watching the battle of sorts. And so it's a really fantastic characters, and the creativity of this whole show is just so well done. It was all written originally back in the 80s. So to see it come to fruition in a TV series like this with a budget, it's really exciting. And season 2 is, I believe, currently under production at the moment. So yeah, really, really cool. I think that this show breaks a lot of boundaries. I think it has a lot of great representation. And when you just combine a level of acting and a level of like CGI, and you're able to do a show like this, because it is a very complex show, it's really quite bold and quite refreshing to watch. So season 1 is out, and episode 4, A Hope in Hell. If you're unfamiliar with this series, I highly recommend it. It's going to be really interesting to see where the next season goes. I really hope that they don't. I really hope that they don't fuck this up, because it's really good. And we know that it's just Lucifer in the second part of the comic book series. He gets his wings cut off and he comes to Earth. It's all connected to the DC universe that we saw a show called Lucifer, which I really didn't kind of get into. I'd kind of prefer this version, Sandman's version of Lucifer. So yeah, I just thought I would share something really cool. I think it's a really good play on just life at the moment, despite everything kind of burning and collapsing and people thinking everything's okay. And it's kind of, potentially I'm looking at doing another video talking about maybe just how inverted the world is becoming now, and how if Lucifer existed, then he can't enter the gates of heaven. So he doesn't want to go to heaven. He wants to bring hell here. So we are ruled by him. And so inversion is something that's very interesting to me. And yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. So please check it out. I have left a link below to the scene called The Oldest Game. And it's the Filipinos Netflix link. So please go watch the scene and enjoy the scene. Let me know, what do you think? What would your last move have been? What would you what would you have played? Obviously, I'm a man with a mind, so if you can play The Oldest Game with me, let's fucking play. All right, I'll see you in the next podcast and the next video, and thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to my crazy ass. Lots of love. Okay, bye.